Oof. Hey everybody, sorry about that. If you can see and hear me, yeah, if you can see and hear me, let me know. So when I had that plugged in, I was hearing some noise. I mean, everything seemed to be coming up, but in like the noises that I was hearing. So I went ahead and powered it off. And when I did, that's when I heard my speakers and it sounded like we dropped. So hopefully we're back up and running, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might try and plug it into a different outlet and see what's going on. But that was weird. That was really weird. Yes, no. Yes, no. Okay, so we'll keep going for a little bit here while I wait to see if people step back in. Excuse me. I'm going to throw this away, and we'll open up the new electric screwdriver. Take a quick look at the other prints we had going. Like I said, I hope everybody's able to jump back in and join us again. I will be back on camera momentarily. I am just trying to break some pieces off. I believe those are made supports. Hold off. A little bit go down the wrong way. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody back. Honestly, don't know if I'm transmitting. Seeing over on YouTube, it appears like we're good on Twitch. Don't see anybody back. Hey, Tech Jeeper, there you are. Awesome. So we are back up and running. Good. Good, good, good. Yeah, like I said, not sure what happened there. When I plugged it in, I did see that the Raspberry Pi was coming up. I heard some noise that I don't really like hearing because it sounded like sizzling. So I went ahead and shut things back off. I'm going to need to double check some wiring before I attempt that again. I did go ahead and remove the power to the, or disconnect the power to the bed. So the load to the SSR and the neutral coming from the bed have been pulled out of the Wagos. So there's no power going into the SSR. Yeah, that was a tad bit freaky. So there's a few things going on here. One, I don't know the provenance of the switch. Filtered switch was already here. Don't know much about it. Meaning I don't know, yeah, I just don't know the history of it. It wasn't new when I had it. The SSR is the original Folgertech SSR, and the 200 watt power supply I bought and provided. So I believe that to be a good power supply. Now I was seeing, I want to make sure that that had not frozen up. I was seeing the screen working, so that's good. I've never run a Big Tree Tech Pi off of 24 volts, but I don't know why that would cause an issue. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off on bringing that back up until I can do some double checking on wiring. Really not even just wiring. I need to figure out what was going on. I may literally disconnect the wires to the power supply, or coming from the power supply, and just turn the power supply on to see if that may have an issue. That will negate everything downstream of the power supply, because I did not turn on and test just the feed into the power supply, which I probably should have done first off, knowing that, you know, I don't know the provenance of this. I don't think we hurt anything. I didn't see any magic smoke. I didn't smell any magic smoke. I just heard some noises. So let that be what it be. I also normally don't plug things into that outlet that I did. And normally I run I was running a power strip from the other wall over there versus plugging in over here. So I don't know if it could be that particular circuit, because I believe that circuit is also feeding stuff on the other side. So that may have been an issue. I don't know. Anyhow, so as you can see, and as Tech Jeeper was alluding to, am I going to be able to get the MOG out the front door? Well, the MOG is 1,007 millimeters long. It won't go sideways, but it'll go front to back. Hey Matt, how's it going? How many tool changer would fit on that? Well, first we got to figure out if we can get it working. We just put power to it for the first time, and I heard some sounds that I didn't like, and so I powered it back down. Now, we did plug in the HDMI cable that I just got for the screen, and we know the screen works because I saw the Linux rolling up on it. So the screen's working, which means the Raspberry Pi had power. I saw lights on the Octopus board. So far, what I was talking about when I started hearing sounds I didn't like, the Big Tree Tech Pi has a base install, the minimal install for the CB2, and I have applied Clipper, Moonraker, Mainsail, Clipper Screen, and Crow's Nest, and run basic updates. That was it. We are literally going to be creating a printer config file from scratch once I figure out any potential power issues we had going on. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The Unimog. So I did purchase a Unimog kit. It has not shipped yet. I have just a few more parts to finish printing out. I need some clear parts that I'm going to print in ClearPet-G. I just need to get that from the house. There are some clear or translucent yellow parts for, I'll say, the roof rack lights. But for now, what you're seeing here is the Unimog initial frame. Let like I said, I ordered the kit. I got a little skippy. We'll just go that way. I got skippy. I got froggy. I got impatient and couldn't wait for the kit to come in because it's on pre-order. I know that I bought it from KB3D and used a lot of my affiliate credits, which made it considerably less expensive to get the kit. Right now what you're seeing is the frame that is printed in PET CF from Folgertech and Kitty. Okay? And what I'm going to do now is slowly walk over there with various things. So this is some of the suspension parts, all of the gearboxes, and I'm still printing out some of the gears for the gearboxes. All of the gears are being printed out in Overture Easy Nylon. So all of these are Easy Nylon. The actual gearboxes themselves, I wanted to stay away from anything carbon fiber or glass filled in the gearboxes. So the gearbox housings, axle housings, are bamboo basic PLA. Anything related to frame structure, steering knuckles, shock mounts, stuff like that was in PET CF. The front bumper pieces were in Polymaker black matte or charcoal matte, matte charcoal, whatever. So there's some of those pieces. Most of the other pieces, such as all of the bed pieces, this is the entire bed that goes on top, is done in the Polymaker charcoal matte filament. The underbed support structure is in PET CF. Okay? Take us back over to the bench because we may work on that some tonight. The color scheme. Well, that is a support piece because it just broke off. The color scheme. Okay. This is bamboo metal oxide green and matte bone white. So all of the quote-unquote upholstery, so the headliner, the lower dash, the seats, the door panels are going to be in the bone white. The body panels will be in the oxide green. So there's all of our body. That was the other thing we may actually start working on, is putting together some of the cab. What else do we have? Well, we've got parts for the seats. These are the wheel portal axles and other wheel bits and bobs. Can't put those together until we actually get the wheels as part of the kit from LDO. Right up here. This box has various parts in it. We've got some interior window trim pieces, other accoutrements and trim pieces. The bamboo dark gray is going to be the floor mats and the floor matting. We've got the suspension, the link suspension. This is going to be in bamboo basic PLA. This is all of the bed mounts, and this is once again in PET CF. Yeah, and I've still got various other parts sitting over there on the various other parts sitting over there on the other bench. So this thing is crazy big. It's crazy complex. You can do just the basic, not even do a flatbed on it, or you can do the basic with the flatbed. You can add the, I'll say like the, it's not the overland package, but it's, you know, like the crash bars and the roof rack. The roof rack, if you do it, you'll have the lights on the top of it, right? So we're going to be doing the roof rack. The overland package would be the camper shell. Now, the overland package you can do for the 4x4 or the 6x6. As you can see here, this is the 6x6 frame. So, it's going to be massive. How's it going down under Maker? Hope you're doing well. So, hence why I ordered this, because once again, using a handheld cordless drill or cordless screwdriver is going to be a lot better than lugging this around and driving screws all day. And I may start to, hey, a bit nuts, how's it going? We're doing a tactical shift on the stream, okay? So we have the Folgertech here. We went over what we did. It's got this gantry set up by Diffusa, which includes what I wound up putting in it was the Fadis Conch hot end, the Conch Plus hot end, with a pin to probe for bed probing, and the Orbiter 2.5 extruder, and the Orbital 2 board. Excuse me, or not the Orbital, the Nighthawk 36 board. We had everything plugged in, and I'd verified all the wiring. We added an HDMI connector to connect it up to the screen. We supplied power. I saw lights coming on everything, and I saw the Linux loading on the screen, and then I heard some weird noises. Never saw magic smoke. Everything still seemed to come up. I went ahead and shut it off. It's a brand new power supply, 200 watt power supply. And this is the first time I'm running 24 volt power to the Big Tree Tech Pi board. That seemed to come up fine. I don't know. The filtered power inlet, I have no idea how old that is or what the provenance of that is. But for now, we've unplugged it. It did take down my stream. So it did something, and the circuit that this is plugged into is also the circuit. So on the other side of that wall behind the printer is all of our networking gear. So it's all on the same circuit. So that's what I think happened, is it rebooted the network. In fact, I should probably go in and just make sure that I have pretty lights over there on everything still. I think all the right lights are on. I'll have to double check in the morning. Or maybe later on today. But in the meantime, I'm going to hold off. It may just be that I plugged it into that particular outlet versus the one in the back, but we're okay. Nothing caught fire. Everything, like the printer itself was working great. So once again, all of the stuff that you see right here, we've got the 3 bins, we've got a few baggies of parts here, we've got the frame, I've got all the bed stuff over on the bench, and some more stuff still over here that needs to get, get brim and supports and stuff taken off. But the overall color scheme, like I said, is this Bamboo Lab metal oxide green. The upholstery will be bone white. This is Bamboo Lab matte bone white. So the seats will be the bone white as well. The floorboard mats will be dark gray. And then, you know, black or other accoutrement on the dash panel and stuff. And then we'll have some things that are in like silver, like the exhaust stack, and a couple of other things that'll be different color accent pop piece. That, so this is the Unimog. We did get the kit on order through KB3D, the LDO kit. And basically I couldn't wait, and I happen to have some M2 screws, which the majority of this is built using M2 screws. So I kind of started. But the manual for this thing, I believe it's 101 or 102 build plates for the basic build. When you add the bed and the like the front brush guards and stuff like that, it brings it up to, I think it's about 120 something build plates. Like they have a full spreadsheet here. And then if you do the Overland Camper add-on, it goes up from there. So we are 126. So that's kind of crazy. Now the build plates aren't full 256 by 256. They're laid out to be able to go down onto like a 180 by 180. Some of the parts would have to be broken down a little bit more to do that. But what I have is I went and I got some screws so that I can start putting some things together. I can't really go to the next section of the frame because you start building the gearbox. And while I have the gears, I don't have like 30 millimeter screws. I don't have the bearings. And I don't want to just go and buy bearings because all of that is coming in the kit. But I did want to sit down and figure out like, hey, maybe let me start putting some of the body together. That way we can show off some of the body of it and show some of that color off coming into our maker meetup this weekend and some of that type stuff. So that's probably, I think, where we're going to start. I don't think I have the files on this screen or on this streaming computer, so I'm not going to be able to show the files that way. What I can do is flip the bench around, and we'll start doing things here on the bench. And I'll let you guys decide. Do we do Do we put together the flatbed or do we start putting together the cab piece? I think the cab piece itself will be really cool to kind of get started on. And the other thing is, let's open this up. I'm kind of hoping this has a bit of a charge, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to charge it. So and that Folgertech FT-6, a bit nuts, by the way, that is a 350 by 720 by 400 build volume. Now, I do have a Hodo. Can't find it. I think it's still over at the house. I need to find it again. But, you know, Prime Days, and you could always use some good tools. So, you know, why not? We got these, and I got a set of Wera drivers. Straight ends, not ball ends. And then I got some other bits and bobs as well. Hey, Waters, how's it going? Okay, so we're going to be playing around with some stuff today, Waters. I was starting to get did the first power on the Folgertech, and I heard some noises that I didn't like. It was kind of like a sizzling, but I didn't see any smoke. The Big Tree Tech Pi came up fine. I was seeing the screen work, but I'm going to turn this back around here and show you this since you just got here. So, Unimog frame. This will be a 6x6. This is just under a meter long right now. It winds up being 1,007 millimeters long by about 400 millimeters wide. We've got all the parts for the gears, for the drive, the differentials, and all that are printed in Overture Easy Nylon. I didn't want to use any carbon fiber filled or glass filled nylon for the gearing because I just didn't want it coming out into the gear mix. All of the bell housings and stuff that the gears go in are printed out in PLA. We're going to be using Super Lube, or I think it was JM something or other. It was a grease that works well with and plays nicely with PLA, right? So that's what I was trying to do, is look for stuff like that that will play nicely with the PLA. Oh, look at this. How'd you use me? Torque settings. Can you give me ideas of what to use different torque settings on? Okay, so this is my first time with a Fantech. I've got a Hodo. In fact, there's a Hodo in the back, but it doesn't technically belong to me. But I can't find my Hodo right now, so I grabbed the Fantech as we start to build the Unimog. But we've got a series of bits. We've got the bit holder. This should work with some bits that I picked up that have a 1/4-inch shank for them. The Fantech unit itself. We've got a charging cable there, just standard USB A to C, and another holder for various things. So the other thing I like about this is a 90-degree angle feature. So we'll have the ability to run this as a 90-degree, just like that. Ooh, not fully charged, but got a little bit of a charge to it. Oh wait, that's the torque setting. Okay, that's the torque setting. So this goes high, and then you can start dropping it down. lowest torque setting, forward, reverse, got a light. Pretty nice. Pretty nice setup. And the nicer thing is, this is sitting in its cradle, and you have access to the charging port, so you can leave it in the cradle and charge it. That's pretty bad that you have to move your car so it'll charge. Looks like we have an ad break going on as well. Hey Wick, how's it going? Cool. Once Waters gets back. Oh yeah, I've already got the beginnings of carpal tunnel. Hey Timor, how's it going, friend? Here, there, and everywhere. Yep. And I see Timor over on the other side. Sorry. Wick Central and Timor over there. Thank you. And you guys want to work on the cab? Okay. So I do have the instruction manual here for a heads up. The cab, just the cab, goes from 52 print plate 52 to 96. So that's what, 44 build plates worth of parts. So you love your Fantech driver? Nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to like it. Like I said, right now I've got a driver from my, iFixit style toolkit just chucked up in the drill. Was using this for the frame, which was M2 by 16 screws into PET carbon fiber. So that was no fun after the first couple of cranking in by hand. So I figured out a way of trying to use a driver. You're going to need more printers for this project. Okay, so Wick. I was using the Max 4. So I'm running all of the nylon parts on the Cheetah Max 4. The Plus 4 did all of the metal oxide green body panels. The Q2 and Q2C that are on the display line have been printing the Polymaker matte charcoal black accent pieces, or not accent, but just everything I wanted in a matte black, which is like undercarriage stuff. The Bamboo X1C was doing primarily all of the bell housings that were going to hold the gears in Bamboo Basic PLA black. And then the other Q2 that has replaced one of the Elegoo's on our print farm line was running all of the PET CF stuff. And once again, that is the frame, the support frame for the bed, and like the shock mounts, the turnbuckles, the stuff underneath that goes with the suspensions, right? That was all done and the drive lines were done in the PET CF running on the Q2C. The X1C has also been used for the stuff that we did in silver, which was Bamboo Basic Silver, the taillights, which were Bamboo Basic Red, and some tool and alignment parts that we'll use during the build for the aligning the servos and the steering, make sure the steering's going good. I did that in Bamboo Basic Orange just because we had it open sitting there for project stuff. So I had 6 printers working on this, and I'm getting ready to put a 7th one to work, and that 7th one will be the 85X. because I'm going to print, there's a TPU piece that goes in the wheels when you mount it up that you have to print. You can print the wheels in TPU, and they have different inner frames for them. But because the kit's going to come with the wheels, there is a TPU piece that gets squished when you're putting it all together. So I'm having to print those in TPU, and I'm doing that on the 85X, which prints TPU through the IFS beautifully. So where are we going to start? We're going to start with this central cabin piece. And I hope and pray, yes, a bunch of small parts. Thank God I did that, but right, front grille. By the way, the majority of these parts are printed with a 0.16 layer height, which makes it even longer to print, but there's the front grille. And to give you an idea, there's the doors. This thing is huge. No heat sets. No heat sets. I don't think there's any heat sets in this. We are going to be screwing directly into plastic. You're going to need a new space for more printers to build this project. Yes. Do you have to put heat sets in all those? No. You have a Prusa Mark 3.5, soon to be a 3.9, Core 1, soon to be a Core 1 Index. Very nice. I haven't pulled the trigger on the Index for my Core 1. I want to. It's just the fact that I know I was going to put money down for the Index, and I was going to wait and wait and wait. Not a bad thing. It's just that's the fact of life, right? I'm not the big time creator, so I'm not getting early access to a bunch of that stuff. So that I can build things for the show or to show it off. Okay, so these are going to be little joining plates. We're going to use this to start joining panels together. So we're going to need one here, and we're using M2 by 8 millimeter. So these we can probably do by hand. Probably. The 1.5 millimeter driver. Yeah. We'll get most of the way there, and then we'll finish it off by hand. First. And I know Nero started his Unimog today, and I think he put his frame together and started into the gearbox at least. Like I said, I did the frame. There's going to be multiple people doing this, and really the frame is very, very easy. The instructions in this is great. So, you know, it's just really jump in, get your feet wet, get to printing. I went ahead and started putting this together with screws that I had on hand. And I've ordered a bunch of other M2 screws just so I can do some of the build ahead of getting the actual kit. The reason being is because I've already got my eye on another 1 or 2 kits. and the screws will come in handy regardless, right? So you're going to get this for your dad, but he's still building the 3D Sets Cruiser. He's 81 years old. Wow. That would be awesome for your dad. You read recently that heat sets are really only an advantage if you take it apart and put it together a bunch. Correct. And if you're, and you have to be careful that you don't strip these out. And the other thing you have to be careful of is not forking the heck out of these. And I think these are the bed mounts. Not in that. I'm gonna have to go searching for these parts. Might have to go searching for those parts. I have a feeling I need to do that before we get too awful. In fact, let me take a quick look at where yeah, once I find that part, it'll kind of key in my mind where that part is probably sitting. That I'm using. Pretty bad when you're having to bring up the sliced plate so you can be like, is it this one or that one? That's exactly what it looks like. Is 75. Gives me an idea of where we're going, which bag we're going to be grabbing. Yep, 75. Here they are. Yeah, this is why trying to break some stuff up, or even as you're doing it, go through the manual and figure out which which build plates belong to which section, and that way it'll make it easier to collect all your parts into the same spot, if that makes sense. So and this piece, check the arrow. So there should be, there's an arrow on the part there. And that's going to tell you which way it goes, and the arrow would be facing out to the side. So when this mounts, in this particular case, the manual shows that this little tab here is facing inward, and the arrow that we see there should be facing out to the side. So the flat edge of the part, when we mount it, will be facing the outer edge, and it's going to mount on this base lug right here. And this is getting mounted through the length, top to bottom, with M2 by 12 screws. Get these set in place, then we use our driver. Angle towards the inside, and the so many little parts. And I think this particular piece here that I'm installing on here is the it's going to be the cab mount. I would really like to use Folgertech, but unfortunately I need to find the other set of bits that I bought, because these bits are too small to fit in the Folgertech from the looks of it. So this one, of course, is going to go in the same way. So the arrow is pointing to the outer edge, and the little earpiece is on the inner edge. A couple more M2 12s. And how's it going, Diablo Spawn? Hope you're doing well. We are pivoting. We started off working on the Folgertech, and we had an issue with power. We did not let the Magic Pixie smoke out, but we are going to go through and validate some things before we apply power again. And so we pivoted because this is the Casadio Unimog. I do have a kit on order from the LDO kit from KB3D on order, and we will be one and then the other. Now we're going to add some M2 by 10s down in these slots here, and they're reinforcing screws, or as Nero called it this morning, rebar screws. Just providing additional strength to the part. Tinkering Techie, jump back in. Which model Folgertech is that? It's the S2, what was it? The S2 Plus, I think it was. Got 20 bits that come with it. It's Pretty nice little set. Quickly run out of length on that little bit. Use it where we can, and we'll go back to doing things by. Recommend 6+ channels needed to control extra features like multi-speed transition or transmission and locking differentials. Yeah, so the kit itself, it will come with, if you get the full kit, which is the only one available right now, it comes with all the hardware, the wheels, the shocks, the bearings, the, all that stuff, a battery charger, transmitter, receiver, all the servos, the motor, all that good stuff. So it's really one of the best ways to do it. All right, so that part's done for just the moment. We're going to grab a couple of other parts. They're going to be like B-pillars and stuff. So let me try and find those parts in here. That one. Where's your brother? That one. And then what am I looking at? Those parts. Okay. So this is the one that it seems to be looking at. This side and this side. So this is going to be the driver's side, so the left side of the vehicle. Seat and everything will sit over here. So cab extension going to line up there. We're going to put 2 screws in from the side. These are going to be M2 by 10. You have 2 FlySky GT3 radios that are reflashed for 8 channels. Nice. Okay, and it's going to be the top 2 sections of this. Like I said, I'm going to use this to get close. And then finish it off by hand. That way I don't over tighten and strip it or go in real hard and split a piece and then have to spend several hours reprinting. All right. That's one side. Now it wants me to put in M2 by 16. Little hinge piece there. Okay. And the open part goes to the outside, and it's going to fit right into that groove right there, just like M2 by 16. That's where I'm going to run into a problem is with M2 by 16s and not having enough. And of course, the reason I don't have enough is because I put the frame together, and majority of that's M2 by 16. But this is going to go all the way through both panels because we're going that long. So it's going to attach everything together, keep everything nice and tight. And I do have my drill on the lowest torque setting and the lowest speed. Okay. And now it wants me to do a little handhold, which would be in one of these two bags. And I do believe that's these ones. Yep. And these are M2 by 8s. Hey, Debbie Duck, how's it going? You're the one that brought me that giant knitted duck. Thank you. Thank you again. We got so many comments about that big knitted duck. So many comments about the big knitted duck. Hopefully your machine is still staying trammed and your bed's doing good. There we go. We got the side panels joined, we got the lower door hinge, and we got our handlebar in place. And it tells us to go and do the same thing for the other side. So need to go ahead and get these lined up. And of course, I have to scroll back up to figure out which screws to use again. M2 by 10. Just what we need to do is start dropping M2 screws. As if M3s weren't bad enough, I'm going to start dropping M2. One close, other one close, and then we'll go ahead and tighten the rest of the way down. Oh, for the love of like I said, we do have a new fan tech. We'll be putting that to good use in later streams. But right now I'm going to have to find the other bits that I just ordered that came in today. We just had some technical difficulties right before the stream started, so. That up, these get them 2x16s. And these are going through the hinge and through both the door panels. So let's kind of lock everything in. I feel like my battery's about to die on that. Not about to, did. An ad break over on Twitch, so they'll be with us, back with us here briefly. So yeah, we've printed this with a lot of different filaments. The frame, in order to ensure that we get a rigid frame, was printed in PET CF on one of our TD Q2s. And the we have nylon parts being printed on our Max 4, and those nylon parts are for all of the gears. I wanted to make sure that the gears were strong, properly meshed, would deal with whatever grease we threw at it. The bell housings that the gears were going to ride in, rather than do all of it in nylon, that is being done in Polymaker Basic Bamboo Lab Basic PLA black. We're going to use either Super Lube, which is silicone based, or I got some other stuff that I have been told is good with all plastics, so we'll test that out. There we go. We've got our internal door handle, the door hinge lower on the side. And we're going to bring these in and join them up right there. And so these were in 2x8s. And once again, we'll be doing these by hand because our batteries. Because I have a feeling they're going to tell me to do a couple of procedures and then do the other side, I will most likely just do the other side now. But yeah, I'm really excited about getting this particular project going because we love this color. This color is amazing. This is the Bamboo Lab. It is their metal oxide green. And it's, Yeah, I think we all have pretty much seen it. Was like, that's freaking killer. So I just went and ordered a bunch of it since I used a couple of spools for this project. Everybody say hi to Evil Diesel. And it wants an M2 by 8. So we secured it down here. We're going to secure it from the side. Did that warp up on it? Yeah, the first one did. I pulled it off, put a bunch more 3D lac on it, and then ran it again. So hopefully, okay. You have fun. And this is going to help tie these 3 pieces together. So I'll throw it out there again. For those of you that are in the local area, it is 4th of July weekend, Independence Day weekend. We will be here in the store. And we will have the maker meetup on Sunday as normal. We're gonna need some more of our M2 by 8s. And we're gonna take a couple more of our linking plates and go into the bottom of these 2 pieces here. Get those going. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I did see the 3D sets. Was it the Mogster 20 and 21, I think? They look really cool as well. There is a few models that I saw from, hey Jedi Spidey, how's it going? Welcome in. Thank you for the 23-month streak at a tier 1 sub over on Twitch. That is crazy. Hey, Miss Lee Marie 3D, how are you doing, Keela? Long time no see. I'm working on my carpal tunnel. So my battery died. Oh, yeah. It's pretty much dead. It's not, it no worky too well right now. So we're going to be switching over to doing it by hand. I did get a new Fantech in, cordless screwdriver, but I don't have the right size bits available right yet. I did buy some. I just don't know where I put them. I have to find that before Thursday when we go ahead and do a few more things. But yeah, I got Skippy, so I had some M2 screws here. I've ordered a bunch more so I can continue to build what I can while we wait for the kit to ship. I did, as soon as KB3D made it available, I cashed in some of my affiliate points and paid the rest down and got that kit on order. So as soon as they get in, we're going to be rocking and rolling. So here is our cabin assembly so far. So this is Bamboo Labs metal oxide green. We need the front wheel wells. Got that one. Ooh. Those two. Yeah. And what we're going to have is the metal oxide green is going to be the main color. We're using bone white, Bamboo Labs matte bone white. This is going to actually be the headliner in the vehicle. And so the door panels and stuff like that. And then we'll have dark gray and black on the interior as well. So we're going to set this aside for a moment, and we're going to find this piece, and we're going to get our lower hinge. We're going to mount it right down here in this gap. And that hinge needs to be in the right way, and the right way is the flat edge here goes on the flat against here, if that makes sense. We're going to use some M2x6 screws. So Keela, are you guys going to be building one of these? Yeah, the Mogs are huge. I've got the frame over there. I printed the frame in a combination of Sorayatech and Keeditech PET CF. All the gears that are used in the drive and differentials are printed out or being printed out in Overture Easy Nylon. That is a straight nylon, so no carbon fiber or glass fill or anything like that. I wanted that to ensure that we had the smoothest gears without anything, I didn't want to introduce debris as those gears will wear down over time. Came in late, what might you be printing? We are printing and building the Unimog. So this is a 4x4, it's a Mercedes-Benz Unimog. It is by Casadio. It did the files, and LDO created a kit, and they are on pre-order through the big three, so Fabrico, West 3D, and KB 3D. I've ordered mine through KB 3D. They have shipped, and they should be, so they have shipped to the distributors, which means as soon as I get mine, my shipping notice, we'll be fat, dumb, and happy. But I'm trying to build some of this now to show off this metal oxide green at the Maker Meetup this weekend. Okay, so we did this on both sides. There's another plate that gets mounted to the bottom of this. We're going to do 3 screws into it here, and they come in from the bottom. We'll set our plate in there. These are the M2x8s. It is so quiet right now, folks. I've been printing 6 printers for the last few days, non-stop. And right now, Evil Diesel just came in and restarted the next print for some parts here for the shop on one of the printers. So it's quiet. We also have the Folgertech FT-6 sitting over here. I powered it up after installing the HDMI cable, and everything was coming up fine, but I heard some buzzing or sizzling. And so I went over and shut it off. There was no magic smoke. Like I said, everything was coming up. And I don't know what happened. The stream got dropped. So I think on the other side of the wall and on the same circuit is like our network gear. And we've got a power over Ethernet switch that are driving a few things. So I think it was just an issue on that circuit. that was causing some stuff and caused a brownout on that circuit. Because as soon as I powered off that machine, the stream came back up and the Bluetooth came back up for the speakers. So don't know what that was about, but that did occur. So I'm going to look at some things. There is a filtered inlet on that, but I have no idea the provenance of that filtered inlet. Meaning I bought the power supply is brand new. I just bought that, just got it in. The 200 watt, 24 volt power supply. Not a mean well, but we take what we can get. And the SSR is legacy. And for right now, I disconnected the load and neutral from the bed. So the bed's not getting any power coming through that SSR potential. There's no config on the Big Tree Tech Pi. It's just got the base install. And so that's something I'll look at in the next day just to try and figure out what may have happened, whether it's something with the filtered inlet or something with just that circuit, don't know. I'm loving the new shop, Miss Lee Marie. In fact, I want to quit my day job and just spend my days here. Oh wait, I do spend my days here. I want to quit my day job and just spend my days doing this stuff here. That makes sense. You have the torque to do next. What's the torque? Now it looks like there's a rear panel that I need to find that's going to join these two front panels together. And that would be this. This is like, I believe, the beginnings of the firewall. So we're going to take this, we're going to line it up and shoot a couple screws in it. And the screws that we're going to be putting in are not any of the, whoops. We're going into these screw holes, not the raised ones, but this one and that one. And we need to make sure that we're going into the right screws or the right holes on the back here, which will be right part. Look at the right part. These two holes where my fingers are. So we're going to need some M2x8s. Get that started. Hey, Agent Cola, how's it going? You want to quit your day job, period? Yeah, it's just one of those, you know, I'm getting to the time in my life where I want to work for myself, do the things I enjoy, and stop working for companies that, oh, we're here for you, you know, you mean the world to us, blah, blah, blah. You know, we just fired a lot of people after we had a great quarter. And, you know, we're going to need to expect you to, you know, work some extra hours, maybe work some weekends. And I'm like, no. You know, I did that for 18 years. It was called the United States Air Force. And they told me where to go, when to go, and all that good stuff. And I did it willingly, and I would do it again. But, yeah, those days are sort of over now. So, and of course, starting the shop now, it's like my care factor is really, really dwindled. You're 3D printing a violin, no clue how to play, but there you go. There you go. It's one of the 3D sets cars. Okay, yeah, I was looking at a couple of 3D sets cars, and like I said, I've been looking at some of the Elvis RC. Let me see if I can't pull that up real. Yeah, so this is they're on Cults and also this Imagine. Like I said, they've got some of these cool rock crawler, different types of machines and stuff, and then like a futuristic EATTV. But the one that really captured me, the EHV 8x8. There's just something about this, maybe it's the military style look, but it's a full 8x8, and it just looks tough as hell. Right? So they have this one, and then the EXR 8x8, and this is the Explorer truck. He does LED lighting on his models. This has got flatbed for like quote unquote Explorer generator, power generation, lab type stuff, things like that. But this just looks cool and tough as hell. That maybe I may wind up doing one or two of those as well down the road. So it'll look cool on the wall at the very least, yeah, until somebody asks you to play it. Yeah, do it before it's too late to matter. Exactly. And that's kind of why I wanted to start this venture now, is it gives me a chance. Hey, Down Under Maker, how's it going? It gives me a chance to try out the shop and see how things are going. And like I said, we've had several people come through the shop this week, which was really neat. A lot of new faces and new people that were coming in to either have, inquire about printers, get some materials, stuff like that. So on this one, we're going to use the one odd mount point here. This one actually has an arrow in it, and it's not square, it's a rectangular one. And it's going to go in this piece here. We're going to hold our piece like this with that firewall kind of piece facing up, and that's the way our arrow is going to go. And we're going to attach this with some M2x8s. And like I said, having a cordless driver right now would be great. My drill is, I don't know if it's just not happy with me but it's coming and going. Let me see if I can get it to give me a little bit more here. Yeah, see, it's fighting with me, so we'll use it sparingly. I'm not going to drive it all the way in, because even at the lowest torque setting and the lowest speed, it's really going fast. And I just got that new Fantech, which can go down to like 0.5 Newton meter. So it stands less of a chance of stripping out the screws or anything. But you want to get it close and then tie it off by hand. Or finish it off by hand. Doors. Nope. That one. That one. Front window pieces. We can only go so far, by the way, because I don't have the kit, which means I don't have the pre-cut windows, and I don't have material to cut windows. I'm going to use some M2x16s. I'm almost out of these as well. Got 3 left after this. And looks like we're going to come in through these 4 holes here to mount the window frame. And so I think what I'm seeing is it mounts in this way with the beveled edge open to the inside. The way we're going to go with it. I'm going to put this in place. And yeah, this thing is a beast. The end result is going to be, once again, this is the Unimog. This wasn't what I was showing on the screen. That's the other projects I want to try and do as well. But this is the Cassadio Unimog. You can build it as a 4x4, a 6x6. You can add an overland camper shell to the back or just leave it as a flatbed. The flatbed will hold a death racer on it. Saw that out at Murph. So that's always cool. Gives you a way of bringing that in style. I was watching a video of somebody putting one of these together, and he actually made a custom trailer for his twin hull boat that I believe is also a Cassadio design. And so he had a custom trailer for his twin hull boat that with the Unimog and pulling the trailer in a 5th wheel hitch style, it was basically the length of the wheelbase of his car between the trailer, the boat, and the Unimog. That's what we're looking like so far. All right. So see, now it's going to start telling me to assemble the pieces for the window, put in the window glass, and then put in the frame with screws. and then mount the top piece in. Front hinge there. So I wonder if we can do some of this frame without Okay. So let's do a little show and tell. So next steps would be assemble the frame that the window is going to go in, put the clear plastic window piece on, and then screw the inner frame to it. All right. Then I was like, well, maybe I can start doing this assembly and just have this ready to mount on, because there's 2 screws mounting that in on top of that piece. There's a hinge added, another piece, and then this gets added to the side of the window, mounted up to the top. So I'm thinking we can probably do those 2 sides, but we can't do the window pane and add it in. And then, you know, go put in like 15 screws to hold the window all the way around. And then we're joining the front and back halves together. So to give you an idea, we're going to wind up joining these together, and that'll be your front frame. Now, like I said, I won't be able to do that without having the cutout pieces for the window. So we might not, I can possibly do this side framing pieces and at least have those couple of sub-assemblies ready to go and just mount to the frame when we're done. I think that's a possibility. Yeah, let's see about doing that. If I can find those uprights. One. All right. Wind up with these and a couple more of hinge brackets. M2x6. Screws that way. Yep. So we're going to put in a hinge bracket down at the bottom of this. And once again, the flat edge of the hinge bracket goes up against the printed part. We're going to use M2x6 screws. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. This is a fun little kind of chill build. It's going to be a long build. A lot of parts to this thing. And like I said, we'll have to jump around because I can't do a lot of the frame suspension stuff because I don't have, like, I've got the printed parts for the gearbox. I don't have the bearings, right? I don't have a bunch of things like that that would go into the frame. and I don't want to jump ahead and with the idea of, oh, I can probably fit that in later on in the build. I'm pretty sure that that will not work. Hey, Waters, how's it going? Took too long on accident. Well, as long as you didn't have an accident moving your car, you know, that'll be okay. Darn it. So we're jumping around a little bit because it wanted me to start setting up the front windshield, and I do not have the plastic for the windshield. So I could probably go and find some plastic at one of the local RC shops around here, and then just cut my own windows while I'm waiting for the kit. But then it's like, what am I going to do? Just build a complete second kit? Probably. Now the question is, black piece, a gray piece, or because honestly, I'm running out of these. Looks like it might be a window trim piece. So to give you an idea, this will be the inner window trim piece. So it's going to have some of the gray on the inside. The window frame that they wanted us to put in here that will hold the window material. There, cross member, this goes in and everything screws together. Those pieces. These pieces are. So, I want that piece in 2x6. Move less than 30 feet. You went outside to parallel park and it took you forever. Okay. There we go. This is just going to be that dark gray trim around the windows on the inside. And it'll match the dash panels and then tie in with the floor panels or the floor mats, floor covering. Sat down and modified CAD file in Fusion. Well, I mean, if it was work related, once again, what I'm trying to do is put some of these parts together so that I don't paint myself into a corner, but I am able to then just throw some assemblies together. So we've got these, and these will go up under these bad boys. So this is going to be the piece that screws in to the front screen here. Once again, this is going to go in and hold the window with the 3 holes. This is going to screw in at the top, lining up with the 2 holes there. Right? So everything's sandwiching everything in place. And then this piece is going to get this piece attached up underneath. One screw coming from the top down, M2 by 16, of course. Is where my driver has let me down a little bit. Yeah, let me see if I can find a battery. I think it's just the battery's dead. Oh yeah. They moved the charger to. So, I don't know what they did with the charger, but let's see if the bits that I just found fit the Fantech. If they do, we might be in business. Hey, Projects in Dad's Garage, how's it going? You're saying hi in both parts? Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I mean, because let's be honest, there's a good chance that I might not see you on one side or the other. Let's see, just the right size. S2 1.5 does work. That worked. Ooh. Ooh. The power. Okay, so in this piece, this piece, right up there. We're trying to move ahead a little bit with what we can. Trying to move ahead with what we can. We'll have to call it quits here soon enough, just because we're going to be out of workable parts, but me back you. And once again, we'll have the window pieces in here, and these are going to wind up going sort of like that, and like that when everything comes together, and we're going to be putting a lot of screws in it. I mean a lot of screws. 2 halves together, run 6 screws down through the top, punch through the bottom. Okay, so right now we're still 2 pieces. It makes no sense for me to go through and do this, because if I do, I don't know if I'll be able to get the other piece in here and put in the like 18 screws that are going to go around the window pane to hold it in place. We need to get a combined chat. Yeah, I know. I need a Nerf blaster. I have one. I do have one, Alex. I've got the Caliburn. It's at home. I normally don't bring it down here, but maybe soon. Okay, so this is kind of our cab going together. Part of me that wants to mount this so bad. There's some stuff that we can work on, though, and that's going to be some little hinges. These will be hinges, I believe, for the hood. So tiny piece, 2 holes back here. We're going to mount a couple of buckles in here using an M2x8. And they're going to basically be mirror images of each other. So in one, we're going to come into the back of the 2 screws. Top fitting, back 2 screws, or back of the 2 screw holes. We want it snug, but, not a lot of play, but we don't want it to be, we don't want to keep it from moving. We just don't want it to have much side-to-side play. Then on the other side, we're going to take the other buckle, and the buckle has kind of like a, come on. Okay, so the one side has kind of a printed washer on it. That's going between this piece and the other piece. And this one winds up going in, I'll say, the front of the 2 screw holes, meaning towards this little sloped flat edge. Okay, that's kind of what we're left with. One in the front, one in the back hole, just slightly offset. And we're going to do the second one, but it's going to be just the opposite. So there's one. We'll grab the other couple of parts. And of course, I've got to take this one apart. So there is actually a long and a short one. And the short one would be on the outside here, the long one on the inside. And so the short one goes towards the back. And I did not notice there was two different sides. Or two different sizes of these little arms. And it really didn't show you that it was two different sizes, which is one interesting of them. Starting to get everybody in here. Is that what it is? Is I just need to stream later and later? I mean, you guys do know that I'm an old fart. I need my beauty sleep. And when I stay up too late, my care for the day job really dwindles. Once again, you want it to move freely. You don't want a bunch of side-to-side play. And once again, I'm going to put these both. So as you can see, one of them is longer. The one on the outside is the shorter. The one on the inside is the longer. And then when we do the other side, the shorter one, once again, comes in from the outside, but it's on the opposite side of the part. So shorter one. On the outside over here. So it's mirror images of each other. And I really should have the manual downloaded over here. I'll get the manual downloaded to the streaming computer tonight or tomorrow so that next stream session we'll be able to look at the manual on the screen versus me just kind of saying this is what we're going to do. Meanwhile, this is what we're going to do. We're going to grab the this right or this shoulder part, and you see we have these two stud holes here, and they're offset from each other. So in this case, we're going to take the side that has the short leg on. So if you're looking at the thing with two holes in the front, the short leg's going to be on that side. We're going to use an M2x8, and we're going to go into the rearmost hole in here. Okay, let's see if we can get that in. There's the outer turnbuckle. There's the inner turnbuckle in there, moving freely. The outer one is now going to go in this one, the higher of the two offsets. And what this is going to do is make the pivot point for the hood. So the hood can pop down now and line up nicely, but then pop up and out as needed. There's one hood piece. We'll do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side now. The instructions actually tell me to put a different or add a piece to the side of this. And unfortunately, it tells me to use an M2 by 30 screw, and I do not have those yet. Darn it. Once again, I'm trying to keep the mobility, but not have a lot of side play in this either. A multi-way hitch wants me to add a piece with an M2 by 30, which I cannot do. And basically, we're going to well, there went that drill. Oh. Yeah, just a little bit of run out now. It'll be okay. But these pieces will line up. We'll add some screws here. So wind up doing a series of M3 by 30 screws, 4 of them here. And that'll lock that together. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Lock that together. Right? And then we'll mount these assemblies using M2 by 12s to the front panel up here. So I think we're at a stopping point. I need some M2 by 30s, which I still don't think I have on order, so I might have to add those to an order tonight. And I think I got 20s, I need 30s. Can we do? Yeah, we're going to need to have that front window put in place before we can really start doing too much more, because we'll get into having to put the lid on the top. So, thanks, Waters. Yeah, this will probably be the end. Like I said, let me flip the camera around one more time. And hey, it caught up. There we go. There is our frame sitting in front of the Folgertech. Once again, the end to end, this is 1007 millimeters end to end. So this thing is going to be pretty darn massive. You know, it's been a fun and interesting night so far trying to put this build together. And I think we got a lot of our cabin stuff going. We just need to, I don't know, maybe I'll go and get some plastic and we'll just go ahead and cut our own windows and get some more, try and get the cab built while we're waiting for the kit to show up. Like I said, I really don't want to words. Wow. I really don't want to put together anything that requires the bearings and stuff like that, because that's going to be an expensive part of the kit. The bearings, the shocks, the springs, the wheels and tires and stuff like that. You know, we paid for it, right? Getting some screws here or there, no big deal, because I'm going to wind up, you know, probably doing another project that's going to require some of those. And there's no kit for this. So this will be, go get the files, and the files will have a BOM and you can self-source, right? But this is another one that I think is a really, really cool build. Has lights and everything on it. So we can do that one, or even the EHV 8x8, which is really, really cool. You know, that aesthetic just is pretty cool. You know, you've got the ELTV and ELTVS, so enclosed or open buggy, kind of rock crawler type setup. There's plenty of little kits out there that are really cool that we can look at and possibly do on stream as well. I think, you know, seeing everybody here and working on the, when we had our maker meetup with all the RC stuff, it was really cool seeing everybody here. So I think we'll wind up doing some more of this stuff as well. So you can never have enough screws. You need screws for everything, right? How's the new shelf working out? Yeah, is Smalls still mad at you for putting printers on her new bed? Yeah, and I hope your wife is doing okay after that fall too. That is right. So for now, I'm going to call it a night. We will come back and continue to work on various things. Maybe we start putting together some of the sub-assemblies for the interior pieces, like, you know, building the chairs, building the dash, stuff like that, that just slides in from the side and bolts on. You know, we can work on some of that stuff after the fact. But for now, folks, thank you all for being here. You guys have a great night. Stay safe. Enjoy your 4th of July this weekend. And we should see you all on Thursday. I am planning on streaming again on. So take care all. Have a great time. We'll see you later. Bye now. I'll go get some rest tinkering, Techie. We'll see you on Sunday.